It's a little bit late in this project to be starting in behind the scenes, but I'm running into some problems, so I thought I would share those with you. This is the Green Machine Trike thing that I did and am doing currently. And one of the things that's been hard about this is that I'm using found materials. So I started with the bed frame, an old exercise bike, and some crutches. And I'm not very far along yet, but I've already just run into problem after problem after problem, trying to figure out how to convert an exercise bike into a pedal where you're pedaling directly on the front wheel. It's quite a bit different than a regular bike where you have the crank in the middle. So I've got the wheel mounted. I put this axle through it. It's welded to the wheel. That's fine. And then I made this assembly to go on to hold it to the body. And so I've got this plate, I've got a bearing, and I thought this would work because the plate would be locked to the fork, which I hadn't figured out yet. And so now, anyway, I'm figuring out that I need to do the fork differently. To have enough support for my weight sitting on it and everything, I'm gonna have to use this square tube, which I made from bed rails. It's actually 2 pieces of L welded together, which was way too much work for what it gave me. I need to use this for the fork. So I have to cut this piece in half, put half of it over here, half of it over there, get rid of that plate, take the bearing, mount the bearing directly to this fork. And then back here I have to mount these 2 fork pieces, which are coming at an angle, to a center body piece that goes back here and then has the back end, which I haven't even gotten to. So this thing's taking way more time than I expected it to. And I think it's going to be really cool when it's done, but man, there's a lot of little things to figure out. And working with a limited set of materials makes it that much more difficult, because I'm like wondering how I can work with this piece of square tube that I made along with these angle pieces that I have from the bed frame, and just how do I get it all to work. So the thing I'm dealing with right now is trying to get this bearing mounted here. I think I'm just gonna notch this out to go over the axle, set it down on the axle, mount the bearing directly to it on the side so it'll carry the weight of the rider, and then put the pedals on out here. I think that'll work. So I just have to take this piece that I made, cut it in half, and do all that. It has been a very long day today. So I started a project this morning, finished it up, a little Christmas advent calendar. That was a cool woodworking project, did that this morning, and then I've been back to working on the trike. And the trike's actually working out better than I expected it to. So I ended up getting this whole thing working, changed my idea originally, and then got these plates welded on here. Both of these plates are welded to all 3 pieces, so I think that's going to be plenty strong. But the cool thing is, this actually works. The pedal is just hanging on there for now, but so that's cool. At least that section is, further along. I got a lot to do left on it, and it's supposed to be out next week. And then check this out. These guys sent me this awesome push stick, which I will no way use for a push stick. It's too cool. Isn't that awesome? Anyway, thanks to Laser Lion for this awesome push stick. Okay, I've kind of failed at the behind the scenes thing for this project because I've just been working so hard on it and it's been taking so long, but I just got it functionally complete. So I'm going to walk you through what I've done on it and some of the stuff that I ran into. So this is where we're at now. Pretty cool. No paint, it's not even, the welds aren't even ground down all the way or anything, but so I realized part of the way through that this whole setup of direct drive pedal to the wheel will work for this, but there's no way to coast. And so I researched the type of drive that you have to have, and it's called a paw and ratchet. And it's like a whole system that fits in here with it ratchets one direction so that you can coast. It's too late to add that here, and I don't really think you need it anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. But it was interesting to get this far into it and then realize oh, I can't coast. But so it's pretty cool. Got these just welded directly to the drive, and they're going through a bearing which is mounted in here. I can undo these and take this whole front assembly off. It just drops down right out of here. In case I need to change the tire, it's a solid rubber tire. If I want to put an air tire in there, I can. Or if I need to make a change, I can completely change this whole front end and just bolt it on, which is pretty cool. All of my welds are nasty, disgusting. Everything is really rough. Like even these welds, you know, buying square tubing would have been the simplest way to do this, but I was trying to make it difficult on myself. So I have tons of cleanup to do. It's not going to be perfectly clean. It's still going to be pretty ugly, but you know. So today I got these handles put in. These are from the crutches, and then I bent this steel rod to fit in here. So it has the drive. I don't know if it's got too much slop in it. We'll see. The whole back axle thing, I don't know if this is right or not. Like, this way I did this may totally fail. I mean, I've sat on it and ridden it around in the driveway a little bit before I had the controls. It seemed to work all right, but over time these may bend. I have no clue. I don't know if this is strong enough. I don't know if these are strong enough. I don't know if the seat is going to stay in place. I have like a little screw thing here so I can slide the seat on this bar up and down. You can't really go forward anymore. There's not room. I was thinking I'd be able to slide it up for the kids, but this is actually my comfortable riding position, and there's no more room up there, so I don't know. We'll see about that. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and when I got it, like, the last pieces put on today, I was like, yes, I'm so excited. Let's take it outside and try it. And then I got a text from my wife saying that one of my kids accidentally threw a rock at our car window and busted the window in a playground, so I had to leave, go clean that up, and now we're back. We're gonna take this thing for the first test drive, and I'm gonna take you guys with me on board. All right, we'll put you back here. Let's see how this works. I don't know. This thing may completely break on me. Let's see if it works. It's really heavy, that's for sure. Ugh. No, it's just these aren't strong enough.
I should have got video of you trying it.
It's okay, I can get different rods to replace that part, but oh, that's a bummer. So the steel rods that I used for the connector are not strong enough. They just bent when I tried to use them. So, gotta replace those, but that's pretty easy. It's kind of a drop-in part. I'm trying to.
You better be careful with this one. You'll turn it right over.
Yeah, I'll be careful. Alright, this is test drive number 2. I got some thicker rod, cut off the bends that I had made and welded them on in the right configuration so I didn't have to worry about rebending them. And the welds seem plenty strong, so I think that's going to hold up. And got the same thing up here. They're not ground down at all, they're kind of ugly, but essentially I think it's going to work. There's a lot less play in them than there was before, so let's take it out and see how this one does. Big improvement, for sure. It definitely seems to control a lot better, although it is still pretty hard to actually get out of a turn once you get into one. So I'm worried about them bending down here or just collapsing, because there's a lot of force when you're trying to pull. But overall it works. The trike is finished now, which is super cool, and I'm about to start working on the video for it. It's probably going to be 2 videos, but I found some things when I was taking it apart to paint it, and so I put it back together a little bit differently. I found that these are 1/4-inch bolts that went through the control bar into the frame, and there was so much force on them that they actually bent, which is, I don't know, a little surprising. But anyway, so I replaced those with some larger, thicker bolts. They should be fine. Another thing was that even though I wanted to use the crutches, the aluminum is just not strong enough. You can see the bend there, and that's just from pulling on them. So it's interesting that this bent and the bolt that goes through that hole right there also bent. But so I used some conduit to replace these, and it's effectively the same, but it's a little bit thicker and sturdier. It's still aluminum, but it's just a thicker wall, so hopefully that will be better. And it's completely done. You wanna see it? So I did my paint scheme. It's not a green machine, it's a black and orange machine. But this whole thing ended up working out very well. It moves nicely, it supports it just fine. This joint ended up being just fine, plenty strong. This whole assembly is a little different than I originally thought, but it works pretty well. I had to, make this more rigid and this more rigid in the end, so whatever. The only problem I have is this joint right here is not quite right. There's a lot of flex this way in it, and I probably just need to put some sort of a bushing in there or something to like lock that in, and probably just using a square tube that was manufactured would have helped that as well. But anyway, I mean, it's it's done and it works, and we're gonna take it out today and film the final stuff of me driving it around. So anyway, I hope it was interesting to have a little behind the scenes for this one, and that's it. See you later.